Hey guys, welcome back to TohirT channel. TohirT is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. Well, there are a lot of things going on in 2020. I totally get it. There's a cacophony of different events, sounds, noises from all over the world. But I noticed a very particular trend that highly concerns me, and I want to make sure we talk about it. Specifically, I want to discuss the fact that some of the schools, top schools and mid-tier schools, and even some of the lower tier schools for the undergraduate degrees, colleges, universities in the United States are currently going through the process of cutting down sports programs, and primarily the Olympic sports programs. I don't think this is the top of the issue. I totally get it, and this 10-minute or so video will never be enough to really go in depth on the complexity of this issue at hand, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that there are as many eyeballs on this topic as possible, because we all have to make sure we deeply think it through. Let's do this.
Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
This heavily touches on the personal and professional development, both topics which I highly care about. And if you're curious to learn more about my perspective and my take on certain things that can positively or negatively affect those two parts of our lives, well, check out this playlist over here or the card at the end of the video. The decision specifically to cut Olympic sports is not new. At least it's not that something happened this week or the last week. It's been taking place for the past couple of months and started with smaller tier schools. Not until Stanford decided to release the list of X number of programs that they are completely removing come 2021, that's when the topic made the headlines. People start talking about it, discussing it, what is the fallout, how they came up with this decision. And overall, I totally get it. This is a tough and uncertain economic environment with the low enrollment numbers, uncertainty around how much it's going to cost you to handle the program remote versus in person, lack of people who are on campus spending money and driving that revenue, the sport venues are not being used. There's a lot going on. And as many organizations and businesses out there, outside of the academia, the colleges, the universities, the graduate schools, they all have to go through the same process of deciding how do they want to allocate their investments for the next year to make sure they can weather the storm. It's only reasonable to go through this process. We are going it through, and hopefully you are going through it as a person when you manage your household budget. Someone else, when they're running a small business, a larger enterprise, public company, we all trying to achieve that balance in this uncertain world. But what really bugs me, the decision around the sports that they decided to cut, specifically the Olympic sports, and I'll talk about one of the sports later in the video that I think really will have an impact. And number two, the motivation. I think motivation is really what gives me that heartache. Yeah, I get it. Who am I to talk about it? I was a professional athlete. Yes, I was in the Olympic sport, sure, but I never made it to Olympic Games. What do I know? Well, I know how positively the Olympic sports influenced my past, my present, and they will influence my future even still. And with two boys growing up in my household, two of the little guys who I want to enroll in sports, I care a lot about what sporting programs will be preserved, and I care about what opportunities they will have and how those opportunities will influence them, and so should you.
Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
I have to make the discussion real. I want to pick a single sport to drive my point home. Well, wrestling. Wrestling is a great example. Wrestling happens to be one of those sports that people sometimes don't think of as this great collegial sport, yet it drives a lot of toughness and great grit in the spirits of people who participate in it, that they can carry all the way beyond the doors of their universities. It also feeds wrestling programs for the Olympic Games, and we get the Olympic champions. We also happen to have a ton of great MMA champions with a very strong wrestling background. Here are the examples of some of those schools that just decided that they don't need wrestling programs anymore. I want to talk in the next section about both the fallout of that decision and the motivation, and why I think both are blindsided by that mid to short term positive gain to their budget, and forget about that long-term negative effect that they will have by taking away the opportunity from students who want to participate or do not even know that they have great abilities for this sport, by just completely removing it from the academic and athletic programs for these universities.
Cejudo Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
The fallout is very simple. You're missing an opportunity to positively influence the new generation of students by instilling that toughness, instilling that dedication and discipline to hard work from early on, from the high school and once they enter the college, through the college years. There are many different benefits. Yes, MMA titles are great and MMA champions are awesome. Gold medal titles is something you can hang on the wall, but at the end of the day, those come few and far in between. Let's admit that. That's reality that we face with all the professional sports. But that grit that people learn through wrestling is what we will miss in those generations that will not have access to wrestling programs in their universities. Ben Askren, multiple times wrestling champion and multiple times MMA champion, put it very well in his interview with Joe Rogan. Yeah, I know, I picked two controversial people, but check it out.
When you go to a college wrestling program, again, it's very structured. You can't skip practice. You have to be there every single day, right? On time. And then it's like you have 40, black belt, right? Jiu-jitsu black belts. And not even just black belts, like world class, 19 to 23 in their physical prime, ready to fight each other every single day. And so you get used to this grind, dealing with people, battling people, discomfort every single day. And so wrestlers get used to this grind where you just don't see that in other sports.
The toughness, the discipline, the value of hard work, all those skills is something you can apply in your life even if you never make the Olympic Games. The camaraderie that people have in their team, that constant peer-to-peer competition with a lot of people who are as skilled or even more skilled than you, understanding that you'll never be the smartest or the strongest person in the room. There'll always be a bigger shark, and being able to fight against that person. Those are the skills that really will make you a great person no matter what field of study, of athleticism, of business you will enter. You will carry those skills with you. If you're a former pro athlete in wrestling, or if you're just a wrestler who've been in a collegiate program and you agree with my statement, please share your story in the comment section below. I'm sure those others who view this video, and I myself, very curious to hear, how were you able to apply that grit that you developed in wrestling throughout the rest of your life?
Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
I was a pro athlete throughout my middle school, high school, and the college years, and I know the value of all those skills that I've gained by just toughing it through the exercises, learning the value of that hard work and a disciplined approach. You know I won't shut up about disciplined approach on this channel, and this is where I got it from. The lesson and the strength of the character that I developed through being part of that professional sport, being part of that Olympic program, really taught me a lot. And I also learned through entering the college that does not care about your specific sport, what it really feels like having those conversations. Hey guys, yes, so I happen to be a pro swimmer. I was swimming for the past 6 or 7 years at my club. I really want to represent our school in the swimming championships going forward and really be part of this great program within our university. So how do I enroll? I really do not want others to feel that way. I do not want my kids to feel that way. I do not want those future wrestling champions feel that way when they enter the college. They really want to carry that passion with them from high school, and there's no way for them to apply it.
Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
As for motivation, I will ruffle some feathers. I promise to you it right now. I will talk about sports that people really feel passionate about, yet I think they are part of the reason why we are in this issue to begin with. I do not want to make the light of the whole pandemic situation. I fully understand the tragic circumstances that we're facing. Yet, when I hear those schools citing the pandemic, COVID-19, as the reason why they're cutting these Olympic programs, I cannot happen to be surprised how schools like Stanford, let's look at Stanford. You're cutting programs that cost you maybe $100,000 to maybe $300,000 a year, yet you continue to pay millions of dollars to your coaching staff of the other couple of sports, and you justify that and you think that's normal. Yes, I am putting in question the decision to cut the Olympic sports and to not even consider decreasing the budgets on two college sports like basketball and American football. In a great article that I'm gonna link down below, and I have to read the names of these two guys because I'll never remember them, Ross Dellinger and Pat Ford of Sports Illustrated did an amazing job describing the motivation that they suspect lies behind these decisions. At the end of the day, when you think about all the top tier schools that are trying to preserve their Division 1 sports, those college sports like the American football and basketball that drive tons of revenue for them through broadcasting and ticket sales and all that fun stuff, and the smaller schools that are trying to remain competitive with them, they do not want to decrease the budgets for those programs. For the top schools, they're preserving their top spot. For the smaller schools, they're trying to compete, taking out that pocket change that they have, moving a couple of cents to just completely cut the Olympic sports and fund everything into this machine that is football and basketball programs. To me, this is ridiculous. You are an educational institution. Your goal is to help people learn the skills and become better at their profession that they picked so that they are successful beyond the walls of your institution. You're not an entertainment company that whole sole purpose is to funnel all the funding into these two sports because all of a sudden this is all that you care about. This is freaking ridiculous. You are spending millions of dollars on these sports. According to the other article that I'll link below, there are coaches out there in those top programs that are paid $3, $4, north of $5 million every year. Why not cut their salaries in half? You cut one of those guys' salary in half. You, I bet, can fund the entire year worth of those Olympic programs, or at least the majority of them. And no, I'm not saying go and completely remove the basketball, the American college football from your program. No, all I'm saying is that take down that exuberant spending on those sports and really at least allocate some portion of those savings towards retaining the Olympic sports that will bring that diversity, that will bring those different skills, that yes, will not bring the billions of dollars in broadcasting revenue because no one really watches wrestling on ESPN every single Sunday, but still, that instills those skills and the important abilities that people can carry with themselves and make the world a better place once they become alumni of your school.
Cejudo becomes the youngest Olympic champion in USA wrestling history.
Did you know about this decision by local American schools to cut the Olympic programs? Do you think I'm overreacting? Or did I just scratch the surface and there is even more layers to that negative effect of the decision we discussed today that we will only see years from now? Share your thoughts, comments, and maybe if you disagree, share your argument in the section below. I know, got a bit heated, but I've been through this topic a couple of times and seeing that decision, especially seeing top schools like Stanford, what are essentially becoming trailblazers in the decision to cut those great sports, really got me questioning their motivation. You are on the brink of being able to influence future generations. You know from this channel, from me talking a lot about motivation behind this channel, how I think we should be changing the world, but not trying to push for these grand schemes. Change it 1 to 2 people at a time, influence them to do better, instill them with the right skills. Schools have that ability, but by shrinking the number of sports that they support, they essentially shrink the number of people they influence, and by that shrinking the impact, the positive impact that they have. If upon graduation your students will learn primarily that they should prioritize the revenue, prioritize exuberant and excessive spending, and really cut down the trees that will bear the fruits for your future. Well, this is not the kind of future we're building, not the kind of future I want to see in this country, not the kind of future I want to see for my kids, and I know we should and can do better. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. I've been watching, I think, too many of these photos or videos of people renovating their backyards and their houses during the COVID and this whole pandemic renovation, because I guess they're just bored out of their minds and they don't have hobbies like I do, so they just go and that's all they do. Well, I decided that okay, I'll try something else, try a couple of things in the yard. And if you've seen me talk about it before, you know I'm not really a fan of the yard work yet. I did get into lumberjacking. I don't know, lumberjacking actually sounds like something you would find next to bear or cub categories. Noodle on that joke for a second. In any case, took down a few trees, tried out using the pole saw, tried out using a couple of other tools that I have. Actually ended up investing in a proper chainsaw and an axe, so I'm gonna go at it. There are quite a few trees I have in the backyard that they're overdue. I need to cut them down. Plus, it's actually the only so far type of yard work that I really enjoy. I think it's physical, it's kind of like a workout, and just something new to do. And who knows, I might make a video about it. Original, I know. In any case, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.